All right, we are live. I am so excited to be here tonight. Everybody, I have been just waiting with bated breath for Deborah to be able to come back and be able to chop it up and hang out with you guys here. So I am so excited. Deborah is back. Yay! 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 So, you have it on somewhere.
I am so excited. Deborah that was me.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, 8 I've been away from this live streaming thing for I don't know what the heck I'm doing anymore.
I know. And we're using different software, so everything is a little bit different. But anyway.
Everything's new. And Carnivore is new.
Mm-hmm. So what's new about it?
Well, I've heard a lot of things. I've heard a lot of things are going on. I've heard that some people have stopped being carnivore. I've heard that people who wrote books about carnivore are now omnivores. I've heard a lot of stuff going on. Now, I haven't been up on the news, but I'm hoping we can talk about it.
Absolutely. So where should we dive in first? How many people are not carnivore anymore? I don't know.
You know what? I want to know how you are. It's been so long.
I know. So I'm doing great. Still following the carnivore way. I'm still not drinking coffee, weirdly enough, and don't miss it. I know, right? I chided Arian, so finally got him to do it. I didn't do it when he did it.
You and Arian are not drinking coffee.
Well, no, Arian went back to it, but he did go off for like maybe 3 weeks, I think. Yeah, because I was like, you won't know how it's going to affect you until you just actually do it. So he finally
I quit coffee for a year.
Wait,
there was a time I quit coffee for a year.
Right. Yeah.
Didn't really make much of a difference, but that's just me.
Well, he did admit it has made a difference. He started drinking it again, but he was acceptable. The level of health decrease was acceptable to him. So he has more postnasal drip and more stuffiness and sinus stuff. But
that's funny.
It was worth it for the coffee.
I didn't notice the difference when I had quit, but well, I'm glad to hear that, Ada. I'm glad it's working for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's weird. Like, I just, as much as it was hard to quit before, like, I don't even think about it now. So.
Did you use those? Wait a minute. You recommended a tablet or something for.
Yeah. L-tyrosine. Yeah.
Right.
Just to not have the headaches. Yeah. Because there's no reason to suffer through caffeine headaches. So, yeah. Take the pills.
Yeah. I'm not going to give up on the coffee. That's still with me.
Yeah. Well, okay. So you're still.
What else has been happening with you? And Black Carnivore itself. I'm telling you, I've been away. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've noticed also you've had a lot of guests.
I know. Well, this was always the point of Black Carnivore, is to just make sure that our faces and our stories are out there. And, no one is going to be interviewing us and asking us how our experience is. So that's why I wanted to put it out there. And so, I've been reaching out to people. I know people are a little shy and not always ready to tell their story, but I, really have been able to get some people who have achieved some success to come on and talk about what they've done. And it's really been helpful. I know that people love to hear these stories, and it really is inspiring and encouraging.
You've had some really great guests.
Yeah,
I listened to the podcast on my.
Oh my God, Dr. Hampton is here. Hey, Dr.
Really?
Hampton.
Hi, Dr. Hampton. Hi. Yeah. I listened to Dr. Hampton's podcast as well.
Mm-hmm.
On my commute back and forth.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love listening to it. And I love that people keep shouting me out on his show. So thank you.
He's, he understands. He understands the carnivore way.
Yeah.
So greatly appreciated your support, Dr. Hampton.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I was when I had Sybil Cooper on, who is also amazing, and we did the story about autoimmunity, and she raised this issue of Black people potentially being carb intolerant and having I guess I forget now how she said it, but I went to our resident doctor, professor, to give us some guidance on that, and he sent a study that that was interesting, that suggested that there may be some mechanism that around how Black people process the carbohydrates. So that really was interesting to me, because it's really amazing how poorly Black people are doing eating the standard American diet.
I'm not an anthropologist unlike you, Bayt.
Okay.
I know the ins and outs and everything, but I like to observe. And from what I've noticed, there are certain people who may tend to eat carbohydrates, mostly because maybe they don't have another source of animal fat and animal proteins that they can eat, and it's just not working for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like whole groups of people in other nations who perhaps don't have animal proteins to eat.
Yeah.
And
well, but we do. I mean, I think mostly in the U.S., we do have access to animal proteins and meat, but we're, given, I mean, like, the fear of God is put into us about eating these things. So, when you're given such bad information, and it is, and you're terrified into it. I mean, it's now to the point where whenever someone says, I want to get healthy, that's like synonymous with going vegan. Like, the word vegan means getting healthy. And so when you say to someone says, oh, I've got to lose some weight, I got to, get a little healthy, I'm going to go vegan. Like, that's the next thing that they say. And I think, oh man, well, I'll see you in a month. And, when you're ready, let me give you another option.
It's hard for me to keep my mouth shut sometimes. Like, you don't want to be one of those people who's like, well, I know the secret. I know.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person, but I guess people need to make mistakes. But I think what happens is they'll say, well, I need to get healthy. I'm going to go vegan. Then it doesn't work because they're starving. And then they start to actually eat real food again and feel as though they failed. And it's kind of the same with your typical calorie restrictive diet. It's the same thing, right? So I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to restrict my calories. I'm still going to eat processed garbage because it says 100 calories per package. I'm still going to do that, but I'm eating sugar. So it's going to be hard for me to control that. Now the floodgates are going to open. I'm going to go back. I'm going to regain the weight that I starved off, but I failed.
Yeah.
And then now I'm going to try again in 6 months, a year, 2 years, and it just keeps going around and round in circles. And it really
it's not even like round and round in circles. It's like you decline each and every time, because remember, you're losing muscle mass that you don't regain each time you regain the weight. So each time you're starting out at slightly worse, and and it's that much harder, and your metabolism is that much slower each and every time. So I hate to see it. And, and I feel like, especially our women, we're often like raising families on our own, multiple jobs or high powered jobs that have a lot of stress. And then on top of that, you have people who are, can you hear me?
No, I'm just saying I'm high powered.
Oh, that's you. You are high powered. So, on top of that, then I see people trying to be at the gym 2 hours and eating, only 600 calories of food. And it's like, that's just too much. Like, you can't keep up with that level of work and still be able to be successful. And so I hate to see that message, sent home. And then the message like, oh, if you care about your family, you're going to get, organic food. You're going to get everything fresh, nothing pre-cooked. And it's like, well, who's shopping for that? Who's cooking that? Seriously, like the person who is also in the high-powered job, or the one who's working, 16 hours a day. Like how's that supposed to happen?
I saw a meme the other day. So on the Instagrams, I don't understand Instagram's algorithm, but for some reason it seems to think I like fruit and veggies. Now, it keeps sending me suggestions of other Instagram channels or whatever you call it. And I saw one meme in particular. I can't remember the gentleman's name whose quote this was, but he said something like, give a woman sperm and she'll give you a baby. Give a woman groceries and she'll cook you a meal. Something to this effect. And give a woman a smile and she'll give you love. Wow. That just enraged me.
Yeah.
It really pissed me off. And people are like, yeah, that's right. Hearts. I was like, whoa, wait a second. A man wrote this. So it's a man giving the woman whatever it is to cook, to clean, and to bear children. No, not how it works, Ada.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I hate that kind of thing. I mean, are you kidding me? There's so much pressure put on women. And then, for men to be like, oh, come on, what's so hard? My wife does this stuff all the time.
I don't get it.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't. But as you can see, there's nobody else here.
Well, we've got a ton of people watching right now, so please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so you can get notification every time we go live. Okay, so I see there's a lot of people here, but not that many thumbs up. So come on, let's get the like button hit. And
I can't see the chats.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not reading the chats.
That's okay. So I've been putting them up on the screen, but there's one, Audra asks about, so the vegan diet was recommended to her mom who had cancer, and it's believed that certain compounds in plants have anti-cancer attributes like sulforaphane and broccoli sprouts. And is there ever a place for low-carb plants in our diets? So, so of course we're not doctors. And if you have cancer, you should absolutely go to your doctor. And
I'm high-powered, but I'm not a doctor.
Right.
I dated one for a second. I got to tell you about that, Ada. I dated a doctor.
Oh yeah. I definitely want to hear about that.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as that question goes, I think that I don't really have a lot of faith in these studies that look at a single component of a plant in large quantities, and that may suggest that they have cancer fighting properties. Often the amounts that they're studying would require you to eat 15 pounds of Brussels sprouts in a sitting, or in a day. Usually those amounts are really big, and potentially they can prevent cancer. I mean, that's what they say. But once you have cancer, these methods are not the way to go. Like, you have to, do something else. But going vegan is, I think, you're beyond being able to cure cancer that way. But as a preventative, there are so many studies that talk about the chronic inflammation leading to cancer, and metabolic disease leading to cancer. So reversing metabolic disease is, probably the best way to prevent cancer that we have. And the way to do that, we've already, there's plenty of research to show a low carb diet helps you to do that most effectively.
I don't know a lot. I've been away for a while, but from what I recall, vegetables have toxins in them, and I think that these toxins, I don't see how a toxin can help to cure toxicity. If that makes any sense in layman's
Well,
terms.
there's that idea that a little bit of stress makes you stronger.
We got enough stress.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
agreed.
I was thinking about how we need to increase our insulin levels just to make sure that our metabolism is flexible. Well, every time I eat, like my glucose is going up. So I don't see why I need to increase it higher. I think it's as flexible as it needs to be. Quite honestly, I don't see myself. Why do I need to? I'm not going to be eating sugar. I don't eat sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
I do feel that meat heals. Meat heals, and I just think it's so wrong telling people to eat their veggies in order to cure these diseases that are killing us. Eat your veggies. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
And insulin goes up with a poor, or your level of insulin resistance goes up with a poor night's sleep. So it's like if you're concerned about, making sure your insulin goes up, like, why aren't you telling people to like not sleep fully or, skip a night's sleep? Like, this is the best way.
I got to talk to you about this. To you about this sleep thing, Ada.
Yeah.
Now, this study that was done about sleep and your insulin levels going up, who was it done on?
I mean, certainly people not, eating a carnivore diet, and probably not low carbers either.
That's what I'm thinking, because I don't feel it's as relevant. Maybe it's relevant. I don't know. I don't feel it's as relevant if you're a carnivore or low carb or keto. I personally went through this thing where my sleep reduced quite a bit. So I think I was getting like 5 hours of sleep a night. And then it started to cause me a little bit of stress because I thought, well, I have to be sleeping 8 hours. Well, apparently I don't. Apparently I don't have to be sleeping 8 hours. After 5 hours, I'm pretty good. I get through the day perfectly fine, tons of energy. I'm not sleeping until like 9 o'clock. And at 9 o'clock, it's a physical, I'm just like, oh, I can't. I have to get into bed at about 9:30.
Wait, you're going to bed at 9 or 9:30?
I am.
Wow. See, now I think, and Arian was saying this too, that I think that makes the difference. So we've talked about how deep sleep happens between like 10 and 1 a.m. And deep sleep is something that just, that's where your body is having physical repairs and like other stuff is going on, but it doesn't seem to happen in other parts of the night. So if you get 8 hours of sleep, but you don't go to bed until 2 a.m., like you just don't get as much deep sleep. So if you're going to bed at 9 o'clock, you're getting the full gamut of deep sleep. And that might mean that, yes, you really are getting all that you need.
That's interesting. I'm not necessarily asleep at 9, but that's when everything I log off, everything starts to come down. I'm just trying to shut everything down. Hopefully by 10:30, I'm out like a light.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that really might be the difference. And I had like made a commitment to myself this week. I really, really, and thank you, Sybil Cooper. She had a sleep challenge going on and lots of great information. So if anybody here hasn't seen it, well, Sybil, you'll tell them where to go. But
is Sybil on the chats right now?
Yeah, she is.
Hi, Sybil.
And she concurs that, those early hours are key in order to get the adequate deep sleep. So, but yeah, so I really made a commitment to myself that this week I want to be laying down with covers on my shoulders by 10 p.m. every night.
Yes, A-Day.
So I don't think I've done this since, I don't know, like high school, maybe. So I really do want to try.
I swear, high school, it was like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Like it was a challenge. It's like, I'm going to stay up till 2 a.m. Well,
Yeah.
actually, that was more college, I think.
I think even by college, I was like, if it's not done by midnight, it's just not going to get done. Yeah.
Ah.
But yeah, so I think it's really important to try to give that a try. And I just want to go back for a second. So Audra was raised Jason Fung's new book, The Cancer Code, which is awesome. I read it and it was really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. It actually it made a number of things about my mom's death a little more clear about some of the things that happened and the way she declined. So it really was helpful to hear his perspective on it. But again, one of the things he says is like, your weight and metabolic health has, the statistics or the studies show that like, 30% of your risk of developing cancer increases by 30%. So like cigarettes increases your risk to get lung cancer by 35%, being obese by 30%. And then all the other like, chemicals and toxins and things you're exposed to, 2 to 4%. So being obese and not taking care of your food is a massive, massive risk for cancer. So
are you saying that we still have a 70% chance of getting cancer despite how we eat or our lifestyle? Is that what that means?
So your chance of getting cancer increases by 30% by being obese. Okay. So that's a big risk.
Okay, I got it.
Bigger. So, I mean, and you want to compare that. Like often people, you'll see in the newspaper, they'll say, oh my God, eggs increase your chance of getting cancer by, 3% or 5%. But when you put it into context, cigarettes are at 35, that cigarettes, you really have a chance of getting lung cancer if you smoke. And so with the obesity being up there with cigarettes in terms of the relative risk, that's high. That's high. Yeah. I mean, that's all the information we knew. And, it's amazing that like, we had to go through the 70s and 80s and maybe the early 90s with RJ Reynolds and the cigarette companies to battle that out and to put, any kind of risk or notification on the packs of cigarettes. So it took decades to make it through there. And I think that the food companies and sugar companies are determined not to be in that situation. And they're able to because, cigarettes are like one thing, they're different brands, but they're one thing. But like, bagels and pasta and pizza and cereal and, gummy bears are all like different things. So, they can easily say, well, we're okay. It's just that group there that, that type of thing that's a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you can get your vitamins from gummy bears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's just such a lie. Like it's so ridiculous that there's a commercial on television with adults, grown people, overjoyed to be chewing on candy in order to get their vitamins and minerals. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, is this what this has become? Because you can take this vitamin and it's going to remind you of being a child. That's what it's going to do. It's going to remind you of your childhood. That's where we are, A-Day. In a vitamin.
Well, I mean, fair enough. We're in hard times. Like, there are definitely reasons to want to, like, reminisce about those times when you didn't have any responsibility. Like, I get it.
I don't. I don't get it. And this is actually before the C word. These commercials have been on for a long time. I don't get it. I don't. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think once again, it's one of those things about it creates an excuse, right? Like, let's take responsibility for our health, and health is a relative word. it seems. Let's take responsibility for our health and let's be adults. And we don't need to eat candy to get vitamins.
No, we just need to eat candy. The vitamins are just incidental.
You know what?
Come on,
I have more respect for that, 8A. I have more respect for that, to eat an actual gummy bear that knows it's a gummy bear rather than some vitamin totem gummy bear. I have more respect.
Yeah. No, I get it. And after your story from the other day, last night I had a dream that
which story?
Well, I'm going to tell you my dream and then you'll know what story.
Oh, okay.
I opened a cupboard. I think I was like at work, although obviously not. That's been like years ago. I opened the cupboard and I saw a box of regular Altoids and then a box of Altoid Smalls, which are sugar-free. And I was like, oh, great. You know, here's my old stash. I forgot I kept like sugar-free candy here for me. And I popped 3 of the Altoid Smalls into my mouth. And then I thought, oh man, I haven't been eating sweets. Like I shouldn't have done that. And I woke up and I was like, oh man, why did I do that? And then it was like, yes, it was just a dream.
So relieved it was a dream. So thank you for reminding me about the story. So I'm taking care of my mother during sea times. And she insisted on having some tea, and I was like, totally do, why not? So I went to make her the tea, and I brought it to her. I don't put anything in the tea. I brought it to her, and she was like, ugh, this tastes horrible. This is horrible. And I was like, well, it's tea, Mom. I don't know what you expect me to do. And she goes, isn't there any sugar? And I was like, no, we don't have.
So Deb has the same camera as me.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm right back. I'm right at you.
So, but yeah, me, right? Like yeah, I can hear you. So okay. So your mom, go ahead.
So I said, we don't have any sugar. And she was like, we don't have any sugar. So then I took the tea back because I knew I had some stevia in there for her just in case of situations like this. So I put the stevia in the tea. It was just like a teaspoon of it, put it in the tea, stirred it up. And then just as habit, you know, when you put the spoon in your mouth.
Yeah.
And it was a shock. It shocked me. Like my body was like, ah! It was a bolt. It tasted terrible. It tasted terrible. Stevia, does that have like an artificial, because I'm wondering if, okay, you know how like Sweet and Low or something like that, how it's sweeter than sugar is? Is that the same as stevia?
I think stevia is also sweeter than sugar.
Oh, because
some people like it, you know, but it definitely has there's a little extra taste beyond sugar. Like it's, you know, it doesn't taste.
And then the chemicals started to come out. Listen, anybody out there who's on the stevia, you know what? Okay, you need to be on the stevia, that's fine. But I want you to think about this story for a second. It was disgusting. If you back away from the stevia, if you back away, you're like, I don't want a relationship with you anymore, stevia. Wait, but it tries to get back into your life by sneaking in a little teaspoon that you put into some tea. You're going to realize you didn't miss it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best thing. Like,
I took it to my mom and I was like, oh my God, it's really disgusting now. You're going to hate it, Mom. And she goes, it's sweet.
She's like, this tastes great. Thank you.
It's great.
It's perfect. It's just what I wanted.
It's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. You know, I mean, I haven't had anything sweet tasting since June, so I wonder, you know, what will happen should I have something. I really do wonder. I do notice that there's a bagel shop on my way back from the park, and every morning it smells like a toasted onion bagel, and it really nauseates me. Like, even thinking about it makes my stomach turn a little. And so I wonder, that if these things that in my head, I've worked up to being really good, if I might find that not so good.
Ada, can I tell you the story about the Fruit Loops?
No, tell me the story about the Fruit Loops.
So I think it's on Pandemic Carnivore on Instagram. I think I've got a picture there of a piece of art that I did, which was fruit covered in Fruit Loops in a bowl with milk and a spoon. And my whole observation, and this was when I was paleo, I think. My whole observation was, look, people think that Fruit Loops are healthy for them because it tastes like fruit. But I was trying to be ironic.
Wait, right? I'm sorry. Do people think Fruit Loops are healthy for them?
So it goes back to an interview I watched with Robert Lustig, who he was giving a lecture. Don't let me forget my whole point of this, Ada, because you know I will. Now I'm going down a rabbit hole.
Sorry, I took you off.
He was giving a lecture, and a woman in the lecture, in the back of the room, she said, I ran focus groups for cereal companies or General Mills or something or the other, she said. And she goes, and one of the most heartbreaking experiences I had was during one of these focus groups. We're talking about Fruity Pebbles or Fruity something. And the woman said, well, I feel good giving it to my kid because it's healthy and it's like I'm giving them fruit. So that was the inspiration for this piece of art that I did, that people equate Fruit Loops to fruit, which is healthy. Well, now, obviously, I have a totally different perspective on it. But my point is, when I was making this sculpture thing out of the Fruit Loops, so I bought, I think it was 3 family pack boxes of Fruit Loops. Remember, I'm paleo. I got no problems with this. Of course I can handle it. So now I empty the Fruit Loops and I still had a spare box, right? So 2 boxes I emptied and I sorted them out, right? Banana, blueberry, whatever, orange, sorted out the colors. And then I started to, I don't remember how I stuck them onto this thing, but I'm sticking them on.
Honey. Honey. Use honey to stick them on.
And then I took one of the Fruit Loops and I was kind of like, ooh, and I ate it.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
And I was like, oh, like, but it's not like I was carnivore where I never ate sugar. I was like, oh, yeah. That's terrible. So now I'm, still gluing and doing whatever I'm doing. And then whoop, another one went in my mouth. And I was like, look, it tastes all like chemicals. No. It's like chemicals. It's disgusting. Gluing. I wonder if orange tastes like orange. Whoa.
Oh.
I wonder if grape tastes like grape.
So how many boxes did you eat in that project?
8. So I had 3 boxes. I finished the piece with 1.5 boxes. I ate the other half of the second box. I ate the whole thing. And I still had the other box that I was going to give to the food bank because they need it.
Oh.
So I still had so I ate them all, still had the other box. And then the day kind of started to go on. And then you know what happened. I dug into that other box. I ate that whole box. It was a family size. I ate the whole box. And I swear I was comatose. Like the rest of the night, the rest of the day, I was comatose.
Did you have it with milk or did you just ate it dry?
Oh, I ate it dry.
Yeah.
Because it's candy.
Yeah.
But there was the initial, ew, yuck, right? Ooh, it tastes like chemicals. Ooh, bloop, bloop. And before you know it,
I don't at all. I mean, I used to have that feeling like when I would do low carb and I'd be on a roll for a couple weeks and it'd be like, oh, it's fine. Like, I don't even like that stuff. I don't ever like take it for granted anymore because I know it is a drug. And, you know, no matter what I say, my body, you know, like it remembers. So like, I'm not going to hang out with crack addicts. I'm not going to hang out with crack dealers. I'm not going to hang out where crack is. I'm not going to hang out where I see crack. I'm just, that is a different world. And I don't engage anymore.
No,
So I do not think I would not do any kind of art project with Fruit Loops.
No. And my whole place smelled like Fruit Loops for days.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this box to the food bank. My butt.
Yeah. Yeah.
No way. And
yeah.
Now story time. Now, like I'm back on Black Carnivore. I've got a lot of stories to share. Here's another one. When you're calorie counting and people learn that you're trying to lose weight and calorie counting, all of a sudden you've got chocolates at your door. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, oh, I gotta get you a chocolate. Oh, you need some chocolate? You need some cookies? Mm-hmm. And you know what I used to do with them? I used to mash them up and then flush them down the toilet. That's what I had to do. Garbage. I'm a sugar addict.
Yeah. The other thing you can do is cover it with dish soap. Because flushing down the toilet, you know, I don't know about your septic system, but that might be a problem. But yeah, dish soap. That's or bleach. Like those are.
So okay, I'm a little bit of a hypocrite though. So for the last 4 years, despite being carnivore and being keto, I would create these little treat bags for my neighbors. Make these little treat bags, put chocolate in them, and then hang them on their doors. What?
Why?
Because I'm Satan? I don't know. I think it has to do with the Christmas spirit thing, though, right? It's like, well...
Wait, you would do it all year long or just at the Christmas
season? No, just at Christmas.
Oh, I was going to say, like, are you... Do you just want people to like you? Like, I don't understand.
No, because I've got nice...
No, I get it. Christmas time,
got nice
this is the time.
And, and so what do you do? Now is the time of the year, right? Yeah. It's the time of the year. I'd like to show my neighbors I appreciate them, but I can't provide them with chocolates anymore. It's not right. Mm-hmm. So what do I do, Ray? Get them a notebook and pen?
I think you can get an ornament for their Christmas tree. You can decorate something to make an ornament. You can get a Christmas stocking and decorate that so they can hang it somewhere.
Yeah,
Christmas card. Mm-hmm. Non-food things.
Yeah. I could.
Yeah. You got to get out of the habit of the food. Because, you know, just like you don't want to encourage other people to operate and function that way. But also it's encouraging, it's still planting in our own heads that, you know, the holiday season becomes more special because of red and green M&Ms. And that's just not true. The baby Jesus, you know, this is his season. It has nothing to do with M&Ms or cupcakes or
you
cookies.
Talk about being carnivore and Christmas. I haven't caught that episode yet, but I've had the last few Christmases sweet free, right? Since I went carnivore, even keto, there was there was stevia stuff going on.
Yeah,
been free of it. It feels good. I don't miss it. And to be honest with you, Christmas is no less Christmas without it. Mm-hmm. It's still Christmas.
Okay, we have some great suggestions from the chat. And everybody, there's still a lot of you in here. So hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon to get notification every time we go live. And don't forget, you can do super chats and super stickers if you like. So all the way at the bottom of the chat box, you'll see a little icon there for a $sign. So you can do those too if you're really enjoying what we're doing tonight. So definitely support us so that we can continue to bring more of this kind of programming. But I see Audra. Yeah, you got to move closer. That's the problem. But you know what, well, all right. So I'm going to come back to the comment, but I think the other technical difficulty that you've got going on is that your camera, you have to adjust the lens a little bit so it zooms more. That way you don't have to be that close to the camera, but it is closer to your face. So there's the other way. No, the other direction. Yeah, see? There you go. A little bit more. A little bit more. And now sit back. Yeah. See? There you go.
Oh, wait. Got to get in the frame.
Yeah.
Sorry,
there you
everybody.
go. But it's, but you might need to refocus. Oh, wait. There. It's focusing. Do you have autofocus on or no?
I do, but the autofocus isn't focusing. It doesn't care.
Yeah. I got to say Canon's autofocus is terrible. I have to turn it off. So I have to.
No, it's on, but it's not working. It doesn't care. But anyway, somebody gave some suggestions about.
Yeah. So Audra was saying, redo treat bags. We make and eat trail mix made of smoked meats and cheeses or charcuterie board with cool meats. So yeah, that's one option.
Wait, a trail mix with meat.
Well, a trail mix. Yeah. Of smoked meats and cheeses. So it might be cube cheese and so it might be, I'm sure it's like cube cheese and cube salami. I mean, it's a little messy. It's not like, good old raisins and peanuts, but it's probably cubes of cheese and salami that are mixed up in a baggie. Yeah. So,
I like it.
And then Bayt suggests that you hang meatballs, okay? That you hang meatballs on their door. So that's an option. My camera's...
I'm thinking I'm not giving any meat away. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's that too.
I'm not giving the meat. I'm not giving it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the elixir of life.
Yeah. So you don't have to sit quite so close to the camera, Deborah. You can lean back a little bit. Yeah, that's good. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable.
You know what's funny is that this whole time I've been away, I've been on camera every single day. You'd think I'd get this, but it's the camera from my computer.
I know you can't use that one. You can't use that one.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other? Hey, is Delisa here?
Delisa? I thought she was here. Delisa, put a thumbs up in the chat box if you're still here. Yeah.
Hi.
So, tell me about this guy.
Yeah.
The guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a date with a doctor for a quick minute. And I had told him before we went out, I said, just so you know, I'm a carnivore. And then, as most people do from the other world, he said something like, do you eat broccoli or so? I can't remember what it was. And I said, no, I don't eat any carbohydrates. And a doctor knows what a carbohydrate is. I don't eat any carbohydrates.
Yeah, right.
Right? You're talking to somebody who has a clue. And he was like, oh, okay. And I said, is that okay with you? Or is that all right? And he was like, yeah, that's great. Just as long as you're not vegan. And I said, well, you don't have to worry about that. So on this date now, he then goes on to tell me that a carnivore diet is extreme and that it's all about moderation. You know how I feel about that word, moderation. Mm-hmm. It's a trigger word for me. Mm-hmm. It's a trigger word. And so I said something to the effect of, well, I feel great, because I don't want to have an argument with this person. We're trying to get to know each other. You never know. Maybe he might be my husband. So I said, I feel great. And then he said, you need to eat, what did he say? What do you call the grains? Not whole grains. Whole grains? Is that what? Look at, I don't even remember anymore. You have to eat whole grains, steel cut oats. I was like, what decade am I in? I couldn't believe it. And I said, well, you know what? I feel great. I'm a sugar addict. So, moderation, that's just not a thing for me. I'm a sugar addict. I know I'm a sugar addict. This works great for me. And then he kind of went on and on a bit more. And then I said, well, you know what? We'll agree to disagree. Yeah. Well, I didn't like him after that. So now a few days later, I get a text message. Deborah, I would like you to read this article with an open mind. And it was from Healthline. And I think the title was The Dangers of Carnivore or something like that. And I was like, here we go. I opened up the article from August 2019. It was an article that I had read. This man does not know me. It's an article that I had read before. Now I was pretty hot under the collar. And I sent you a message about it. And so I wrote him back and I said, hey, I read this article last year, and there are actually a lot of pitfalls in this article. I think what you should do is maybe take a different perspective. And I named 3 books, the title and the author, for him to read. And then at the end, I wrote, happy reading, exclamation point. Don't tell me.
So is he like dating you or your doctor? Like, why is he like up in your health like that?
Well, and you know what kills me too is that he was talking about how he is there to help people who have heart issues, diabetes. Like, he's naming off all metabolic syndrome. He's naming off all of these things. These people are dying, and then he's telling me to eat steel cut oats.
Yeah.
Especially when you tell somebody I'm a sugar addict. So let's equate it to, you know what? You should be able to have a glass of wine every now and then because it has antioxidants in it. And then I say, well, I'm an alcoholic. Well, in moderation. You should be able to drink alcohol in moderation is essentially what he was saying to me. Obviously, he didn't believe in sugar addiction.
Yeah. Or, the other part of that statement I think of when people say that is like, well, you got to have the resveratrol or whatever it is for the cancer. So if you're going to avoid it for the alcoholism, you're going to get cancer. And it's like, thanks. That's what you're telling me? Like, there's no way out.
There's no way out.
Go back to drinking because I'm going to get cancer if I don't, die in the gutter from alcoholism.
From everything in moderation. People cannot do moderation. Most people cannot do moderation. That's why the healthcare system is the way it is. And I was like, well, doc, you can.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, doctor, you didn't ask me. You didn't ask me how long I've been doing carnivore. You didn't ask me why I'm doing carnivore. You didn't ask me anything about it. What you chose to do was assume that I had a closed mind when actually I have to have an open mind to even consider carnivore, considering the messaging that we're receiving from society and everybody looking at me thinking I'm crazy because I only eat meat. So that means I have to have an open mind. And for him to actually send me an article from 2019.
So did he call you again?
No, he got that. I think what he was thinking was, well, she didn't like me, I didn't like her, whatever it was. And what do I have to lose?
Yeah.
I'll just tell her that she's killing herself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, you can take your little 900-word article and I'll match that with these 3 books. And Ada could have kept writing. Could have kept writing on the books. What did I tell him? I gave him, definitely there's one book I didn't give him. And I don't have to tell you what book that was.
I know. But we have so many wonderful books now to choose from. We don't even ever have to talk about that book. We have Nutrition with Judy's book and Dietitian Dilemma book. Wait, I
gave him Ken Berry, Lies My Doctor
Ken Berry's book.
Yeah. I gave him Ben Bickman, Why We Get Sick, and I gave him what was the other one? Oh, for goodness sakes, The Big Fat Surprise by Nina Teichel.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Those are the ones I gave him. I was going to give him Amy Berger. I was going to give him that one, but I didn't, because the article said that if you eat the carnivore diet, you could get Alzheimer's.
Wow.
You see how upset he's like? Don't tell me. Yeah. Don't tell me who to be. Don't tell me what to do, doc. He's not my doctor. Here's the other thing, 8A. My doctor sees my numbers. Yeah. She doesn't say anything. She's got nothing to say.
Yeah.
Whether she believes in what I'm doing or not, she's like, well.
Yeah. I know. And I just went to the doctor and all my numbers are great and in line. And it's like, wow, look at that. Here I am almost 50. Like, this is the time when people are like, okay, I'm on, high blood pressure medication and stuff for, my cholesterol. And, and I've got like a water pill and I've got this pill and that pill. Like, people, this is the time that people are on handfuls of medications. And so I think it's like a pretty big accomplishment to not be on anything. And I did not get the luck of the draw when it comes to the genes. I get frustrated and annoyed when people are like, oh, come on, it's just moderation. Yet no one in their family is heavy. They've never been heavy. And it's like, come on, so you lucked out in terms of metabolism that, theoretically can handle this. Although, you're well, let me not curse, but crazy, because of the sugar, but, so it's not showing up in your body in the same way, but, you want to come out here and make pronouncements about what other people should be doing. And that's really frustrating. But I've lost my point. I don't know what I was saying. It's your turn. Ball's in your court.
But I was going to say that even in those instances where someone physically appears to be okay, are they really? Are they?
Often not. And it's stunning to me how much anxiety people are struggling with and depression. Like, those are the two most common things people talk about. And even if they're not like actually getting treatment for, like, still, deal with the symptoms. So I'm just kind of like, okay, so you're thin and like that part's not happening, but your mental state is a mess.
Listen, I just saw Esther. Hi, Esther. I'm blurry, but hi. I feel like one of those.
And Delisa was here. Delisa was here. She wrote back that she and she gave us $20, so that was so cool. So thanks so much for the super chat.
And is Ronnie here? Hi, Ronnie. Hi, Virginia. If they're here.
Yeah. All right, I'll call out everybody who's here. So Delisa, she was actually first one here and first one.
Hi, Portia.
Yeah, Santina, Sybil.
Santina, that sounds like a new name.
She is, and I actually interviewed her. So her interview is going to be coming out, I think, this week. I got to check my schedule, but she is awesome, so interesting. So stay tuned for that. Yeah. And Bayt and Romea and Esther, Glenda is here.
Glenda!
Cynthia, Dr. Hampton, and Audra, and let's see.
Audra's new. I don't think I know Audra.
No, I think you do. She's been around for a while. Yeah.
Okay, hi, Audra.
Yeah. And Asada, she is here, and Miss M, and I think that's Esther, a different Esther, and Studzee Nubian, who was excited. Yeah, and Tiki T.
I like that name.
Yeah, Lady V. Yeah. So, and also here. So yeah, we got a lot of people here. A lot of people come through. Yeah. Yeah.
Yay.
So, So Audra's usually at work when we do the live, so that may be why you missed her. Yeah. So I don't know.
So much. I miss the carnivore world.
I don't know. Maybe we need to do a short weekend live, just so you can check in and stay connected. Because people are seriously missing you. Yeah. So I think what you need to do is manually focus the camera lens. But you have to lean back as far as you can and try to focus it.
Yeah.
So
it's not going to work.
Yeah. So the other trick that I've done, we'll go over it more after, but I taped a piece of paper with my photo on it, and I taped it to like a cardboard box. So I put it here, and then I get close to the camera and focus on it.
Okay, that's the idea. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do this time.
Yeah. And oh my God, Carnivore Yogi is here and gave us a super chat. Oh my God, thank you so much. And
sorry, I was talking, Ada. Who else?
Carnivore Yogi, she just gave us a super chat for $24.99. That was so awesome, and wishing us Merry Christmas. But Delisa was here before and gave us the super chat for $20, and that was super awesome. And Audra listens on public transport to us. That's awesome. I love it. So I wonder if she, I don't know if Arian and I are quite as funny as you are, Deb, but I wonder if she bursts out laughing like when she's sitting on the train.
I honestly have
that would be awesome.
say, I think for me, I don't know if it's so much that I'm funny as I am awkward.
Well, Awkward Black Girl created a whole career out of that. So yeah.
Awkward Black Girl? Oh, the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not as awkward as I am. I mean, after all, I told off a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. That you did.
I tried to be nice about it, 8-8. I tried.
Yeah. I think I feel like I have to date within the faith now. Like I don't think I could date a omnivore or a vegan or a vegetarian.
I'm coming right back with you. Hold on.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's just not going to work. And this way of eating is really important to me. So I wouldn't want to, to try to mix those two faiths. Like, it just doesn't work.
I have to agree with you. Let me see. Do I agree? Wait a second. I think if a person is vegan or vegetarian, there's going to be a problem, but not necessarily my problem. I think it'll be their problem.
Yeah.
Right? I think in the back of my mind, I'll be concerned because they need to have animal proteins. They need animal proteins as a human being. I would be concerned about that. So if it was a long-term relationship, I think eventually it would become a definite issue. But initially, like, no. I mean, you know what?
But it does become your problem when, they get sick and you're like watching them get sick over and over again. Like, it does become your problem.
It's true. And they refuse to, if they refuse to eat meat. Yeah. That's I so want to tell another story, but I can't because I think it's a little, the person might be watching and they'll be like, thanks a lot.
Well, I know my dad isn't watching, and he is a lifelong vegetarian, and
you mentioned this before.
Yeah. So, we're sort of at a detente. He stopped, pushing on it, and I stopped pushing on it. But we are not at all at the same opinion.
We're at a detente.
Yeah. So my and then we were somehow a box of family pictures was found, and it's full of pictures, and there was a picture of my grandfather, who I've never seen a picture of before. Had no idea what he even looked like. So and he died at like 57 of a heart attack, I believe. So, we have a family call each week, so we were discussing it, and, I was asking my father, like, what happened? Like, how did he die? Tell us about him. I know nothing about this man who died before I was born. So, my dad was like, well, he ate terribly, and that's why. He used to eat egg yolks and lots of fat, and it was just like, oh. Okay, so I'm not getting full information here. So but he did die, and he died very young. So, and he wasn't, my father's side of the family, they're just not heavy, so he wasn't very heavy. He wasn't heavy at all, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But I also know that many on that side of the family are, just sugar lovers, sugar addicts. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of candy, he ate, how many Cokes he drank. Like,
it could have been the fermented type too,
I don't think he drank. I think he did not drink. But yeah, it could have been like straight up soda. It's got more sugar, as much sugar, if not more, than beer. Yeah.
I have to go back to the doctor again. I'm sorry. There's a bit of cognitive dissonance here. Because I explained to the doctor that I used to be over 200 pounds. I look the way I look now, and he was telling me to eat steel cut oats. Isn't that a bit of a...
It's like, I know something. I did this on my own. Like, I know how to do this.
It's like you and your dad, right? 8'8". It's like, but your dad your dad can see you. You look amazing. Your skin is glowing. There's a disconnect between, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I don't know. And I hadn't seen my dad in a long time. He came to my mom's funeral, and it was actually quite a surprise. He's aged a lot. I mean, he should, he's almost 80, but still, it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's made it this far, and he thinks that his diet is the way that that has led him there. But it's interesting. There's a lot of mental health stuff that a lot of mental health improvement that happens with eating a carnivore diet, and I feel like what I am starting to see is the people that are slimmer have the other stuff, like the brain problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, to see that improve on so many people is so awesome. And it happens so quickly, too. I mean, for all of us, everybody sees those brain improvements really, really quickly. But, I think that we just get so caught up with obesity. And then, if you're not obese, then everything's fine. But it's really not.
I totally agree. And during this time that I have been away, it's been hard. I've been under a lot of stress with work, with the C word. Not that anybody's gotten sick in my family or anything like that, but it is a stress, and we all are feeling that stress. And there was a point there where I said to you, Ade, I said, if I weren't carnivore, I don't know where I would be mentally, because every day I was able to bounce back. That same day, I was able to bounce back. But if I weren't carnivore, and if I was relying on sweets and sugar to get me through it, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I would still be using all kinds of things, candy, cigarettes, drinking, you name it. Like
Yeah.
I would not be able to, to just kind of manage my day. So yeah,
I know
yeah.
that there were a lot of people in this carnivore community. I don't know if I should talk about the C word, but I'm going to for a second. In this carnivore community who were against the shutdowns due to mental health. Now, everybody, if you don't know, I'm in Canada. So we pretty much abide by the regulations that the government has set out for us. But there was a lot of pushback with regard to that because people have to get outside, they have to get sun, they have to get vitamin D. They got to get out there and experience life because it'll be bad for our mental health. I agree. I agree that not socialize. We're humans, right? We're social animals. Not socializing, not getting out, not being active, not getting that sun, not doing those things will definitely affect our mental health. However, it goes back to what I just said. That I feel that if I were not carnivore in lockdown, it would have been a lot harder for me. I think I don't know, Ada. What do you think? I think that being carnivore is that unless you're carnivore, that's what I think everything is. So if you don't get enough sleep at night, your insulin levels are going to go up unless you're carnivore. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could really be wrong about that, right? But I just feel like if you're only eating meat and avocado, still am, everybody, still am. If you're only eating meat and avocado and drinking coffee, still doing that too. It's just not categorized the same as being in a situation where I am going up and down, or I do have a lot of toxin, like drink the red wine because it's I just said the word detox, not detox, free radicals. What's the word? What am I looking for?
Antioxidant.
Antioxidants, because it has antioxidants in it. Well, but I need to be oxidizing, right?
Yeah.
If I'm carnivore,
yeah,
this is not an issue. So I just went on a rant.
Well, let's see. Audra had a good point. She says, "I'm a farmd, and I'm
farm daughter."
I don't know what that means. I guess a pharmacist or someone in
pharmacology.
Okay.
Okay. PH. All right.
It must mean something.
Yes.
Or maybe a farm MD. I don't know. Anyway, she's She's professionally restrained to share those protocols that keep people fat and sick. I'm evolving my career and to creating a new paradigm. So I listen with interest to all of you. So, I think that's really interesting. I think there are so many people who are working in healthcare and have this dilemma, knowing this information, yet really not being able to share it. And that was something that the Michelle, who's writing the book, The Dietitian's Dilemma, wrote, that she finally felt like she had to leave her job because she just could not be telling people to do, the things that she had to tell them. And so she's now working as a butcher, which is
good for her. That's the podcast I'm going to listen to on the way back.
Yeah. And she still has her, she still has her license. So I was like, well, what happens when the book comes out? And she's like, I don't know. I don't know.
That would be quite the dilemma. It's, I'm not in healthcare. I have to say my mother was. I'm sorry to everybody who is, including you, Dr. Hampton, but I know you're on our side. In healthcare, there's some of the unhealthiest people I've ever seen in my life. I'm sorry. Yeah. But I don't know if it's a matter of I need to care for other people and I don't think about myself, or is it this is what I learned in school and this is what I perceive to be healthy. But once again, it's that cognitive dissonance. Mm-hmm. What I've been told to do and what I see happening to my patients and what I see happening to myself physically.
Yeah.
But I'm not in healthcare for obvious reasons, because I'm awkward.
And I want to give a shout out to Blue Motivation. Thank you so much for the super chat. He writes, since meeting with Black Carnivore, I have been able to get off 3 of 4 lupus medications. Weight is finally coming down as well. Thank you. Oh my God, that's so awesome.
Amazing.
All right, you need an applause too. That is amazing. So I'm so glad to hear that you're coming off your medications and you're really, everything is really starting to come together. I remember we talked, that was a long while ago, and I'm really glad it's going so well. So yeah.
That really is, that's amazing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nutrient dense foods.
Yeah. Well, so I'm going to confess something that I have not told everyone. In my, alternate life, I was working for Weight Watchers. And it was very difficult for me to tell people to eat that way when I knew that it's just not the best way, and it's the hardest way, and it sends people on that cycle of losing muscle, losing weight, then they gain it back. Then they have to start again, and they have to eat less this time around because their metabolism is slower and they're not doing as well. And so, yes, it was very, very difficult for me. And, obviously the world has changed, companies change, things have changed, hours have changed. So I no longer will be doing that. But it was hard, very hard.
Sorry, Oprah, you're going to lose a day.
You've lost a day.
Right on, right. A-Day, that's the business model, though. That's the business model. They know that this is not going to work. Yeah. That's how we got to keep making the money.
Well, that's so interesting too. Like if you reach your goal weight and you stay there, it's free. But there are it's free forever for the rest of your life. But, there's not a huge number of people that do that. No. There's a lot of people who hit lifetime, they hit their goal and regain weight, and they do it again, regain. And people 3, 4, 5 times have, hit lifetime, but still aren't able to stay there. So yeah, it's really frustrating. And I see people who are working really hard. I mean, that's not people who are just like, oh, I'm going to, eat everything. They're working really hard. So it's like, it was difficult. And there were times I didn't ever use the K word, or certainly not the C word, but it was like, I think you should eat more meat. Yeah. And then, some people would run with it, and they'd come back and be like, wow, so I'm not eating carbs. I'm eating all this meat and I'm losing this weight and I feel great. Yeah. And they're like, thanks. I'll see ya.
never imagined in a million years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the business model. This is how the diet industry stays in business and makes billions and billions and billions of dollars. And like I've said before, A-Day, not a lot of money you can make off of carnivore. Yeah. Just not a lot. There's got to be something, there's got to be a pull back to what you were doing before in order to make money off of carnivore. And I mean, nothing against anyone who's got their little carnivore snacks, their little carnivore chips and things. Nothing against you. But the reality is, when you're carnivore, you can easily survive on one meal a day. There's really no such thing as snacks. A snack, I don't know, take it or leave it. I think for me, having a snack is more habitual than anything. And so, I need to have these dried pieces of meat as I travel on this train to, no, you don't. You don't. And once you get used, there's just no money in it. There's no money in it. And maybe I might buy a bag of dried up meat for the sake of novelty. Ooh, I wonder what that's about. Let me taste that. It's not like I'm going to be running back for it unless it's got honey in it. Honey in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If it's got honey in it, I won't be going back for more.
Yeah.
I'll make my own.
Well, thank you, Sybil, for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. And I love that you are my #1 fan. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah. Well, I just admitted, to quite a lot of people, like I have not come out of the closet about my WW life, but
I knew about it. That's why I'm not so reactionary.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so I don't really tell the story, but when I began, I was at my brother's wedding, and things were terrible. I finally hit my like rock bottom. I was so heavy, so uncomfortable, blah blah blah, and I knew I needed to lose weight. And so in my head, I thought, like, every time, every diet, everything I've tried to do, like, it hasn't worked. I clearly don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to go back to a place that says that they know what they're doing, and I'm going to follow the rules, and I'm not going to question it, and I'm going to put aside every instinct. So that was what I did. And I walked in there and I just said, I made 2 promises. One, I'm going to face the scale every week, no matter what I think it's going to say. And I'm going to track every single thing that I put in my mouth. And so, I did that, and I lost some weight in the beginning. I did lose some weight. And then, Weight Watchers has this saying, every November they change up their program, and they do it early so that the existing members have a chance to kind of get used to it before January comes, and, you have the real big push of people who are, got their New Year's resolutions. And so that year they just made some technical changes with the app that just made the whole thing a mess. And like, I couldn't access the app for a good 6 weeks. And so there was no way for me to track food, and I couldn't track points, and I could use other apps, but those apps only have calories. They don't have Weight Watchers points, so there was no way for me to do it. So then I was like, well, I've done low carb before, and that really worked well, so why don't I just count my carbs, and I'll do that. So I started doing that, and it was going great. And so I was like, okay. And then January comes, and they finally get the app fixed, and I was like, I don't know, things are going really well for me. Like, I don't want to mess this up. So I kept going.
WW's own fault.
Yeah. So it kept going. And so I kept going. And then, eventually, like, I went to my leader and I was like, hey, I haven't been doing this diet for months. I'm doing low carb. Is that okay? And she's like, you're losing weight, so don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, great. So, there was a lot of mindset stuff too that you got to deal with. And that was something that I really felt I got a lot of support from those meetings. But like the food itself, I just, I was doing something very different. So, and then obviously I eventually evolved on to carnivore. So yeah, I'm like way off track.
Wow. You know what,
But
8A?
that's my story.
That takes a lot of courage.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know when you first told me, I was like, say, what now?
Yeah.
But it was Weight Watchers that got you here.
Yeah. I would not be here had it not been that, if that hadn't been part of the journey.
Right.
And, the last thing though, the last piece that was a little bit hard to let go of was this whole notion of tracking. And I think that, that's very, very much a part of WW, but, most weight programs, like everyone now is like, you got to track. People who track, lose more weight. And I think that's been the hardest part, that has been, learning to trust your appetite. Because when you're eating, just the standard American diet, or even like, Weight Watchers, you're always hungry. So you can't rely on your appetite. Or else you're trying to constantly stuff 0 calorie, 0 point voluminous foods into you to kind of try to fill up, but you're always feeling hungry. So
yeah, I know for me now, I know that this may be controversial, but I don't believe in measuring anything. I have heard it said that carnivores say to eat as much protein as you want, or carnivores say, what else do we say? Eat till you're full, or carnivores say. So I've heard those things, and I get it. I wouldn't say to eat till you're full. I'm saying eat till you're satiated. Just eat till you're satisfied. And maybe you can eat too much protein, but I know for me, when I start to travel down this road, the road I was on with keto, and I have to say, when I think about keto and I think about what I put myself through, I have like terror flashbacks. So when I think back to being so, this sense of anxiety about, am I getting enough protein? I'm not getting enough fat. I have to eat this much fat, but it's making it like, when I think about those days, that is just not for me. And it's not something that's sustainable. I cannot live the rest of my life concerned if I weighed this protein, or when I cook it now, is it the same amount of protein? No.
Yeah.
It's, it causes me anxiety. It's just, I just want to be free. Well,
that's why I had to stop listening to Paul Saladino, because every, one of his posts was like, you're going to die if you're not doing this. And it's like, I can't.
Wait, look at my face.
I know. Your face. Exactly.
Paul Saladino.
Yeah. But he had that thing where, like, are you, getting your glutathione? Are you getting your bone this? How much are you eating, this much liver at this, and it was just like, oh my God, I can't worry about this all the time. And then that makes you eat more, because you're like, well, I got to get this amount of liver in today. And, I don't know. Yeah. Thank you. Give me the face. Give me the face.
It causes a lot of stress, and I can't live my life that way. It reminds me of counting calories, and it reminds me of when I was keto. The freest I'd been was when, and out of the two, wait, carnivore.
You're breaking up.
Thank you.
Say it again. You're breaking up.
Yes, it's probably me.
Yeah, your internet, I think.
Yeah, my internet is slowing down. It happens, A-Day. What should we do?
I don't know. Sometimes this program is just like, you've been talking an hour and a half. I think you're done. I'm done. Sometimes it just says that to me. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
I don't know, A-Day.
Yeah.
You can hear me though, right?
I can hear you, so let's keep talking. And I see large picture says Paul is a clickbaiter. Don't take him seriously. I know. He is.
He and others. He and others are clickbaiters.
Yeah.
Can't take him serious. Can't take this man seriously at all. But there are a lot in the carnivore community I can't take seriously.
Yeah.
I am discerning. I'm a discerning person, and I think that we all, in a way, are discerning people. That's why we're carnivore.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I asked the question, like, what do we? Well, first of all, Audra, this was very funny. Don't break up with this, Deb. You just got back, laughing out loud. That was actually super funny. Thank you, Audra.
That is funny. I like that one. Thank you.
But I feel like it is. Oh God, what was I going to say? So like, I'm not hearing, like I was, totally interested in the science for many years as we learned more and more about how a low carb diet worked, why it was really helpful. And so I was really enraptured and I paid a lot of attention to that. But over time, I feel like we're not getting that same rollout, or there's more detailed, finer information, but it's not new, it's not groundbreaking information. So I kind of feel like with carnivore, we've kind of hit like a wall in terms of what new information we need to get. And so, then you've just got new people who are coming to it and haven't seen any of this information. But most of those people are not interested in doing a deep dive on a book with like tons of citations. So we need to have those books for reference, but then we need to have conversations that are more accessible. And so I'm trying to like balance between, how do we provide the science, and then how do we provide a space that is welcoming and encouraging to people who are just starting out.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I forget sometimes what it was like starting out. I think when I started carnivore, however, I was already an outlier when it came to diet and nutrition. So the main part for me was, and I was actually quite vocal about it and open about it. I was very, very much like I only eat meat, unless of course it comes to dating, but now I'm going to be a bit more open about that. And if the person says, yeah, that's fine, I'll know it's not. But I honestly, I think that is maybe one of the harder parts is people realizing when you're vegan. Here's the example. When a person's vegan, they're like, I'm vegan, nice to meet you. Right? Like it's right off the top. And then people are like, oh, wow, that's so wonderful. I don't know how you do it. I couldn't do it either. But hey, I'm carnivore. Nice to meet you. Oh,
you like to kill things and eat them.
You kill things. You kill things and you eat them. I hope you don't kill me and eat me. Like that's what you hear. But you don't eat meat? Well, yeah, I eat meat, but I eat vegetables too. And then there's this shaming part because you're killing yourself. But nobody says that to a vegan. Nobody says you're killing yourself except for me.
Yeah. Yeah. But, I think, the other thing too is like, especially, when I first started keto, it was like I was doing it to lose weight. I wasn't really thinking about my long-term health. And I think even people on keto think that they're not really worried about their long-term health. They're doing this for a while until they can get things under control, and then they're going to go back to something else, whatever that other thing is. And so that I think is a real difference as well, is for me when I went carnivore is to really be thinking about the rest of my life, not just, this short-term goal. And it took a long time to undo a lot of that information I had in my head about how many vegetables I was supposed to have. Was I supposed to eat the rainbow? How many servings was I supposed to have? Are they supposed to be raw or can they be cooked? Can adding, like dairy and other stuff be okay or not okay? I was thinking about all of those things. How many servings of kale was I supposed to have? And it was really hard to undo that. And I think it took years. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube videos and I watch a lot of them over and over again in order to really try to undo that stuff in my mind. So I know that people need to hear that information, but they need to hear it in a way that I think is easier to comprehend. And I think I might have done better if I had been watching people day in, day out, like us, who are doing well on the diet, and knowing like long term, this is good.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I do think I'm just a particular personality, to be quite honest. I just don't think I'm, like I said, I told off a doctor.
You did.
I don't
like to get in fights. I don't like to get in fights with vegans. And I find it especially useless because, well, for one thing, like I have strong political beliefs. I have strong social beliefs. And so I don't expect anyone else to be able to talk me out of them. So I know that people who follow veganism, often have, strong beliefs, and, I shouldn't be able to really talk them out of it. But at the same time, I find I'm not able to have rational conversations with a lot of people, with the vegans. And so I don't engage in those conversations, but sometimes they come at me. And so one did. And I was like, well, I put videos up of people telling their testimony about the health problems that they've reversed and the success they've had eating this way. And I do that as, giving people the opportunity to see other people who've had success. And and she basically said, well, and I said, these people have had success. I mean, what do you say to that? And she said, well, they're lying. And I was like, I don't even know how I have a conversation with you. If you're starting with the people that are communicating with you are lying, then there's no way for us to have a conversation. There's no way to have dialogue if you're just going to assume I'm lying. So, that was really disheartening. And so it made me think, that's the kind of irrationality I kind of hear a lot of times when you're starting to talk to vegans and, you're starting to have a conversation, or the goalpost shifts from talking about, health to talking about the environment, to talking about animals, to talking about whatever. And it's like, and it's like, well, wait, what's the goalpost here? If we're talking about health, I've given you lots of reasons why, health wise, there's good reasons for us to eat meat, and we do better on it, and the evolution and, our body functioning, our body parts indicate that we eat meat. So now we're going to switch to talking about cow farts and methane, but I have things to say about that too. So now we're going to switch to, and it's like, I don't understand. But there's no point. There's just no point.
I agree with you. Two things. I think that carnivores and vegans are more alike than any other groups. We really are. But I think the reason why carnivores are different is because we eat meat and we're able to keep our mental faculties. I think that's the only difference. Because when it comes to a certain value system, vegans have it just as, they believe in their value system just as much as a carnivore does. So we do have this thing that's very in common, very much so, is that we stick with our ideals and what we believe is right. And just like the doctor couldn't convince me to become a steel oat eaten omnivore, and I didn't ask him, it's the same with me trying to convince a vegan otherwise. And when I talk about being carnivore, I do try to keep it more on the low because of veganism and how vegans believe that they're so right. But I look at them and I'm like, you're wrong. Is the same way that somebody is looking at me and saying, but you're wrong. In your reality, that's what's right. So I think vegans and carnivores, we have a heck of a lot in common. And we're also both open-minded people. That's the other thing too. We're both you have to be in order to cut out meat completely. You have to be open-minded. You have to be open-minded to cut out vegetation, carbohydrates completely.
Well, I think you have to be close-minded because you have to put aside any information that is challenging you, and not only from other people, but your own body. As you start to fall apart and feel bad. Yeah.
You have to be close-minded as a vegan?
Yes, because you have to refuse information that is suggesting that your belief system is wrong. And remember, I tried my hand at it too. And it's like all the different ways that you start to feel bad, and everyone's like, oh, you're just detoxing. Oh, you just need a little this, a little of that. You have to ignore that information. And so that requires you to kind of close your mind to, to information. So I think, maybe the idea to get started with it, you have to be open-minded, but in order to continue, you got to be closed-minded. And to a certain extent, we do too, to cut out sugar, except we actually do feel better. So, there's a positive feedback from our bodies.
Yeah.
Which is different. Now, Large Picture says bringing someone along for the ride is often more trouble than it's worth. I 100% agree with you. And as they say, don't try to bring people that Harriet would have left behind. So, that's kind of how I feel. Like, just,
I heard that one. I like it. I'm not going to forget it either.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like let's just create a space so that when the person does fail at veganism and they are still desiring to improve their health, that there's another direction that they can go where that might work for them. So like I had a friend, hey, everybody, actually, I should be mentioning this. Why have I not? I have another podcast, Black Keto. I started that one before I started Black Carnivore. So we just revived and we put out a new episode of the Black Keto podcast, and I'm getting ready to I probably this week release the next episode of the Black Keto podcast. But anyway, my partner in it, I remember she was like, hey, I'm trying to get healthy, blah blah blah, so I'm going to start a vegan diet and I'm really excited about it, blah blah blah, and we're doing this and blah blah. What'd you say? No. This was before keto. So this is how we got started with it. And she said, I'm going to do this. And so I was kind of like, do I say something or, and then I said, well, I lost 80 pounds on a ketogenic diet and I'm happy to tell you about it. So, if the vegan thing doesn't work out, let's talk. And of course it didn't. And I knew it wasn't going to work out. So a month later, she was like, hey, tell me more about what you did. And then, she's on board. So her husband actually kind of went carnivore and basically dropped like 80, 90 pounds. So it's like, I think that I just want people to know there's another place. If you do the vegan thing and it doesn't work out, there's another place for you.
Beatty, I had a friend who, she went vegan. And I said to her, well, I don't know that that's actually, this was actually before, no, was I yeah, I think it was carnivore. And I was like, well, I don't really know that that's actually good for you to go vegan. And she went, shh. And I did. And and she started to change. And at the start of the C word, she and I just stopped talking. Like she started to change. Mentally, she started to change. I can't necessarily say that it was the vegan diet, but I kind of feel like my carnivore world and her vegan world just couldn't come together anymore. And I feel like I couldn't say anything to her. I didn't say anything to her, but I feel like she was carrying a particular weight about it. Yeah. And we're not friends anymore.
Yeah. But I don't think that you can be, because it is a big divide. I totally get that. And both ways, like you see your friend not doing well, like having mental troubles. Of course, you want to say, hey, there's an alternative, but instead you got to suffer in silence. And then as, she's all irritable and crabby and whatever, you just got to accept it. And it's like, oh, it's hard. I get it.
We went on a trip. So obviously this was before our friendship broke up. We went on a trip, and during the trip, she was drinking like these booster juices, and she was like she would be eating quite a bit, and I would allow her to eat. And in those instances, we went to places where I couldn't eat. So I ended up fasting for 3 days. I fasted for 3
Wow.
days for my
Wow.
friend so that she could constantly be eating. But she would never look at it that way.
Yeah.
But I fasted for 3 days. I remember at one point we stopped in a gas station and I went inside and I was like, oh, well, I could use something. It's been 2 days since I've eaten. I could use something. So I look at the beef jerky and I start to read the ingredients, and it had sugar in it, like one of the top
Yeah.
ingredients. I was like, oh, okay. And I put it back, and then here comes day 3. It was like, that's
Wow.
what it was for me. But she was eating, and her booster juices, and like I'd have a coffee, don't get me wrong. I'd have my coffee still, but actual like meat and those things you can't necessarily like just stop at the side road and get a
Yeah.
ribeye steak or something like that. Like in
Yeah.
terms of what she was eating and what I was eating, it was just so vastly different. But I was able to fast for three
Wow.
days.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So what you do for friendship
But she
and what
couldn't
the
fast for
vegan
me for
didn't
3 days,
and what the
8 days.
vegan didn't do for you. Yeah.
She couldn't do it.
She couldn't do it.
Mm-mm.
So Sybil just said she subscribed to my Black Keto podcast. So thank you so much. For those of you who are still here, I encourage you, go find my the podcast on whatever podcast player you listen to. We're there, and yeah, find the Black Keto podcast.
Aiden, how do you do that? Is it keto carnivore, or like, what are we talking here?
Well, first of all, we started it. I was still keto at the time that we started it. So I began my carnivore experiment not telling anybody. So I just was doing it. So I was still doing the podcast telling people to eat keto. And I was just beginning carnivore. But first off, I still consider myself to be on a ketogenic diet. It is important for me to be in ketosis. I measure that sometimes when I have the strips, and they don't cost $1 million. But, it is important to me. So I am still keto. I was never one of maybe in the early days, but later on, I was not one of those keto people that was like, you got to have this many vegetables and this many this and that. And then later, I became, if it fits your macros, kind of wine and chocolate keto person.
With the
So I was,
stevia, you have the darn stevia in there.
no, I don't like stevia. So I was eating wine, real dark chocolate, and meat. So a part of me actually, when I first started, I wasn't going to name myself the black carnivore. I was going to name myself chocolate carnivore because I also wanted to indicate, brownness. But then I was like, nah, people are going to think like I eat chocolate and meat.
Or they're gonna think you're black.
Nah, not everyone's gonna think I'm black. So I want to make sure, I didn't want any confusion about what I was eating. So I did not go with the chocolate carnivore. But up until I went carnivore, yeah, I was eating wine and chocolate and like ground beef. So there really wasn't vegetables in there. But I think and that was something that I noticed, that people who are keto long term, like even like keto with Casey, that was somebody I followed for a long time, and who, was like encouraging people to have veggies and everything. She shows pictures of what she eats, and by the end, it's like a half an avocado is the only green thing that she ate in the whole day. So I saw a lot of keto people who call themselves keto, but who were eating carnivore essentially.
That's
Except for their coffee with the stevia and that's it. But I think that as you eat this way, your stomach enjoys, the vegetables less and less. And it's kind of like, what's the point? What's the point? Like, I don't enjoy it.
I just have to say a little side note here that my antlers look like Christmas bat wings. But that's not my point here. What I was gonna say is, remember when I broke up with Broccoli A-Day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There was something still in my mind where I was like, oh, I gotta eat this little thing of floret of broccoli because for some reason it's gonna do something for me.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Up with it.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, for me, it just kind of fell out. You know, it wasn't like a decision. You know, it was just like less and less. And, you know, it was more like I'd be at the grocery store and, you know, I buy like a head of broccoli and it costs, you know, $5-6. And then, you know, part of it rots. And then, you know, I never eat the stems. So, you know, I'm already throwing out $3 right there. And, you know, and all of these things, it just kind of, you know, slipped out. And then I ate during the campaign, the summer of 2017, when I was running for office, I ate the same thing every day. And it was like my absolute favorite meal. So I'd get a bottle of Rayo spaghetti sauce, which was, you know, low carb, just tomato sauce, 2 pounds of ground beef and sour cream and, you know, maybe some cheese. And then sometimes my brother would buy sausage or pepperoni. So sometimes he'd throw that in. But I'd, you know, cook up the ground beef, pour in the tomato sauce, and that was it. And I put it in a bowl. And then sometimes I put a dollop of sour cream, sometimes not. Sometimes I put some mozzarella, sometimes not. And sometimes there would be sausage. But it was the same thing every single day. That was what I ate the entire summer. And I remember one time I was buying it and I was at the grocery store and the cashier said, "Oh, that's funny. I saw someone yesterday buy the exact same ingredients that you just bought." And I was like, "Did he look like this?" And she's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Yeah, that was my brother." So, yeah. But once I
brother, she liked him. She remembered what he bought.
Yeah. Well, he is a good looking man. He is. So, you know, people do pay attention.
Married though, right?
He's not married now. Yeah. Yeah. Go for it. So
don't egg me on.
He is not a carnivore though. And actually he complained a lot about the greasiness and the smelliness of like you know, just the cooking meat. And, you know, I was like, well, you could clean it up. Like, that's a solution, you know, instead of complaining. But
why have we never talked about this brother before? I don't understand.
I don't know. Yeah, he lived with me for like a year and a half, like on my couch. So, yeah. So he stayed for the summer to help me out in the campaign, and then he just stayed. But, yeah. Yeah.
Do you see you know, you think you know somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
She can't even mention her brother to me.
Yeah. So he works out a lot, but you know, he's on the whole, you know, cut calories and stuff to lose weight, and like, you know, it doesn't work. And so how many times I tried to get him on, you know, to do low carb, and he'd be like, this low carb diet doesn't work. Meanwhile, he's sucking on a candy, you know, a blow pop candy bar, you know, a lollipop. And he was like constantly eating candy. I tell you, one time I was washing sheets and found a Jolly Rancher that fell out of his mouth while he was sleeping, stuck to the sheets. So I'm like, you know, you can't tell me that a keto diet doesn't work, because I have never seen you do it. And you claim that the pea sticks turn purple, but I have never seen that happen. But I've seen a lot of candy wrappers. I find candy wrappers all over my apartment.
Oh, so, that used to be my life.
Yeah, Jolly Ranchers especially. That was like a you know, big one. So yeah, so this stuff was just all over the place. But I know that, you know, a lot of people, I mean, I don't know how some people are able to not gain weight while eating candy all the time, but they exist, and he's one of them. And I mean, he would gain some weight, but he, well, I don't know, he's like 250, but he's also really, really muscular and big.
Is he tall?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Like,
it's the whole
like
thing.
6'2"? What are we talking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all good.
80.
But
When the C word is over, I think I have to come and visit you.
well, okay.
Or if he's looking for safe harbor,
But he's not a carnivore.
But he's looking for safe harbor, right? Like, I've got a place.
We gotta find you a carnivore,
right, Virginia? Virginia wants to meet him.
We gotta find you carnivore, and we gotta turn more men carnivore. And this is what I don't understand, why men are so resistant to it, because it's like you're socialized to eat meat. Like, we, the women, are going way against culture, not ordering a salad when we go out. So why is it so difficult? And it's so weird now.
Did you notice that Bayt changed the subject? A-Day. Anyway, yeah, you're right. There do need to be more male carnivores, and I think your brother needs to be one of them.
I've tried, but he will not get off the candy. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. But, my point was that he complained bitterly about the smell of the meat cooking and whatnot, and the grease and stuff. And it was like, well, you could clean it up. And now, but that didn't happen.
Gosh. You know what? Honestly, though, A-Day, the truth is that my biggest, what's the word? Leftovers, byproduct is fat. Yeah. Like, I have so much, like I have tubs of fat.
So you got to start making soap. I'm so excited that Arian makes his own soap. Now, I started buying tallow soap. I love it, but it's expensive. Now you've got all this tallow. What? He makes his own soap. He says it. Well, I don't know. I think he uses tallow. I don't know if you can use lard, maybe, but he uses tallow, and he buys lye from like Home Depot, and you just kind of stir it up and cook it up, and then you pour it into a mold, and it makes soap. And he says it takes like a half an hour.
Way too long. Okay, here's my question though. So you use tallow soap. What about your dog? Does your dog come and like lick you?
Oh my God. No, but I also use tallow on my body, and I put it in an old jam jar, and I put the lid on. And one time I was here on a live, and I heard this clatter. So I went and looked. She had somehow licked off the top of the tallow, the jam jar, and it fell into the bathtub. So yes, she will eat it if given the opportunity.
This is what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that little chihuahua over there is going to take a piece out of me.
Well, she will be more attentive. The tallow is not gonna, I don't smell the tallow more than an hour after putting it on, if that. Yeah. So as you go through your day, you're not gonna smell like meat or anything. But I don't know. Dogs, I mean, they may smell things that humans don't. They may be like, I like this one. I want to talk to this one.
This one over here, she'll take a piece out of me.
Yeah. Now, Sybil says her husband
before, but now.
So Sybil says her husband was vegetarian when she met him, and she converted him before they got married.
Sybil, are you trying to give me hope with A-Day's brother?
Yeah. And then Sybil says, when I was working last year, my boss said he was trying to eat healthy and only have steak once a week, but really likes beef. I told him to eat beef every day. Yeah, that's
so funny because it's such a reverse of the world we live in, is to hear somebody say, yeah, I'm trying to get healthy. I'm only going to eat meat once a week. And it's like, what? Like that would be my initial reaction would be like, what are you even talking about? You crazy?
I know. When we try to get healthy, we're like beef and water only for a week.
Right? Like, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna cut meat out. I gotta get healthy. What are you talking about? Eat your steel cutouts.
Yeah. Well, so Virginia is saying that she's making tallow soap this week. So Virginia, oh my God, so many videos we've got to make. We have got to see you make the tallow soap because I have a lot of tallow and I would like to make some soap too.
I didn't know there was tallow soup, Virginia.
And Sybil saying she has a lot of tallow in the fridge too, so she wants to make soup and the soap, and she's going to Home Depot tomorrow. So, first of all, lye is a big deal. So make sure you watch the videos on YouTube showing you how to do it and the proportions because you don't want any leftover lye. But yeah.
You don't want any leftover lye because it'll burn you?
Yeah, you don't want that. Or it'll straighten your hair like in the old days. Yeah.
Okay, but mine is not tallow. Mine is bacon fat. I've got...
I don't know, Virginia, if you can answer the question. I kind of feel like you need a certain level of saturated fat that's harder. You know, that's what makes the fat harder to make the soap. But I don't know. It could be that lard is just fine. I don't know.
Oh, Virginia's asking about lard?
No, I'm asking Virginia about lard. For you. Because I don't know. But you've got to make your own soap. And in fact, Living Life Now, she was here earlier. Another thing, I was so terrible, I didn't make the video yet. But she has started a company called Head to Toe Blessings, where she makes whipped tallow lotions and with various scents and stuff, so it doesn't smell like any kind of animal fat at all. So with like lavender and other scents like that, although I asked for it with no scents, I prefer it that way. And she is probably going to start making... Oh, she's here. There she is. She's commenting right now. So she's saying, yes, you can use lard to make soap. And I think that she's probably going to start making soap pretty soon because I've mentioned it a couple of times. And I'm sure people are asking for it. But yeah, you can use the lard. But everyone go order from her. So the company is, I think it's headtotoeblessings.com, but dashes between each word. So www.head-to-toe-blessings-.com. But I know a bunch of people have ordered from her already, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and it's really nice. The texture of the tallow is whipped, so it's very light and it's easy to spread and all of that.
I'm just thinking back to, and this has nothing to do with the tallow soap or anything, but I'm just thinking about that Seinfeld episode with Elaine when she had the mutton in her pockets and the dogs were chasing her down the street.
I know that's not going to happen. She was being crazy and weird. That's not going to happen.
That's something that would happen to me.
No, that's not going to happen. They're going to like you more. They're going to be like, I like you. Yeah.
Just don't go to the dog park.
Now, Audra says she eats all her tallow, so she doesn't have any left to make soap. Yeah, I mean, I eat a lot, but still, there's still leftover for some. There still is like fat left over, so I wouldn't worry about that. And then Sybil says, "Oh wow, you burned your scalp with lye. That's really that sucks. That hurts." And she remembers the old relaxers. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. As you can see, I don't do that anymore.
Or the hot combs when I was a kid. The hot combs. Oh, I was like, Grandma, no, please, no.
Oh, yeah.
So Virginia says lye is dangerous. I'm going to try both bacon fat and beef fat. I'll let you both know. So,
please, Virginia, let me know about the bacon fat because I have tubs of it. And what I do is I put it back on the stove and I, take all of the pieces out of it and whatever. But I've got tubs.
Yeah. So Red and Gold ordered ordered some of Living Life Now's tallow, and she really likes it and doesn't find it strong smelling at all. So yeah, don't worry about it.
Red and Gold have a dog?
I don't know. Red and Gold, do you have a dog? Is your dog more attentive? Is your dog paying more attention to you?
It's simple. Just curious.
Yeah. So, Sybil remembers the hot combs. Yeah. I remember my mom burned my ear so badly. I had like a 3rd-degree burn on the tip of my ear. And I was 13. I said, that's it. We're done. We're done. I will take care of my hair from now going forward. I don't care how bad it looks. We're done. So.
You know what mine was? I used to have a pixie haircut like Halle Berry, but I had to use the straightener, and I went and seared the side of my face, and that was it. I was done.
Yeah. Red and Gold does not have a dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sybil and I'm not giving Bijou away.
You what? Yeah.
I'm not giving Bijou away.
No. And nor am I giving Ruby away, even though she does some disgusting things. So yesterday I did not clean up so well after cooking that pork chop. And the floor has, in front of the stove, evidently, there must be a lot of grease there because she's been licking the floor all day. So I need to clean the floor.
Yeah, I know what that's about. I know.
Yeah.
I know what that's about.
Let's see. So Sybil bought kidney fat and rendered it and has blocks and blocks of tallow. Yeah.
Ooh, all right.
And Audra uses emu oil for skin moisturizer and scrubs made from Epsom salts. That's a great idea. I hadn't even thought about doing that. I took a bath today with Epsom salts, but it would have been lovely to have a scrub when I was in there. And I should have just used the Epsom salts like that instead of mixing that in and just sitting in there.
I think that's a fair mistake. Now you know, though, 8A.
Yeah, I got to make a scrub. Yeah.
Now you know.
Yeah. So I have been using, on my skin, I've been using tallow soap and tallow for moisturizer, and I'm really liking it. I gotta say, like, I am not unhappy with it at all. So thank you, Living Life Now. I really love the products that that I got from you, and the soap. I ordered off of Amazon just plain unscented tallow soap, but as soon as someone makes it and is willing to sell it to me, I'm happy to buy it from you. And I got to get it together for me to make it myself. But, Living Life Now, please make some soap. I need it.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe you can even get it on the Etsy's. Does she sell it on the Etsy's?
I think she has a website. I think she can't post the website, which is why she is not, like, YouTube won't let it. But if you all go to, I know. But if you all go to, well, first of all, she has a YouTube channel called Living Life Now. And I'm pretty sure if she hasn't, she will put in the About section her website or where to buy her product. And so the information will be there. If not, I'm not sure if she's on Instagram. I think she might not be on Instagram. So you're going to have to go to the YouTube channel.
You did an interview with Living Life Now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So surely her contact information I put in the description box as well. So if you go back, I think it was reversing diabetes, type 1 diabetes with carnivore diet. I think that might have been the title, something like that. So her son.
Yes, her son.
Yeah. So definitely go and check that out there. But she's great. Hey, Mia, Holistic Health is here. So awesome you have made it.
Oh, Mia.
Yeah. Phew. Sorry.
Tired.
Yeah.
Now, 8A, I've got a question for you. Once again, I have to preface my question by saying I haven't caught up with the show that you and Arian did about Christmas.
Oh,
my question
that's right.
to you is, what are you having for Christmas dinner?
So I just got an order in from Bel Campo, and this time I got a lot of pork. So I think I'm going to do a pork roast, some kind of pork roast. Yeah.
Okay.
I have been having a love affair with pork lately. I don't know what it is, but there's something about it. It's just so good. So
I've never made a pork roast.
Well, I had a Boston butt that I made, and that was delicious. But one time, a Boston butt, that's like a cut of pork. I think it's a cut of the shoulder, but it's a different part than the picnic shoulder. Yeah, these different things, different names. But I had not eaten. Well, so one day I had been up and out all day, and I hadn't eaten since early in the morning. And so, at about 1 o'clock in the morning, I finally got to eat, and I made pork copa steaks, which is essentially the ribeye of the pig. It's the same cut. And I mean, it was so unbelievable. It was so unbelievable. Now, admittedly, I was super hungry, but I felt like it was the best thing I'd ever eaten in my life. And so I was like, I need more pork. And so since then, like, I just have not been able to quite get my fill of it. So beef, I'm still eating, but not nearly as much.
Okay, so say the name of this cut again. Which one? The ribeye of the pig?
Copa. Coppa. So I think it's well, yeah, it's the same part of the body, but it's just in the pig. So it's smaller. It's not going to be as big as a ribeye.
I'm going to try this. I'm going to try
So
it.
everybody, in the description, I think I put it in the description, or you can go to any one of my videos. There's a link to Bel Campo, and if you use my code 8A10, EDE in the number 10, you'll get 10% off of your order. So I encourage you to go and do that. Give it a try. Or look in your local butcher for the Copa cut. It's not always there, or it's a little hard to find, but it's good.
I'm going to give this a go.
Oh, okay. Wait. Living Life Now was able to put the link up there. Head to toe blessing. .square.site. Oh my God. I totally butchered that address. So yeah, her link is there. So go and buy her stuff. It's awesome.
But you've got the truth now. We've all got the truth now.
Yeah. So Mia says, whoa, eating more pork than beef, 8A? I never thought I'd hear you say that. Your body must be handling it better now. I'm actually not sure. It might not be.
80, haven't we had this talk before?
Yeah. Well, so I kind of went a little crazy having pork rinds and stuff like that too. So I was, my body was not handling that well at all. So I finally have put that aside. And so I'm definitely feeling better. But I might feel better still if I were just having beef. But I'm like, enjoying the pork.
I'm very confused. So it's more the pork rinds than the actual. So it's about processed pork as opposed to.
Definitely bacon and pork rinds and things like sausage are absolutely a problem. Fresh pork. Yeah. Fresh pork is less of a problem. But because I was having all that stuff, I think everything was all sort of flared up. So it's hard to tell. Right now, things are starting to calm down, but they are not yet fully calm. So it's hard to say, but I'm still having a lot of pork. It's just fresh pork. So, yes, this is not ideal. This is not the way to do it. But I'm, starting to feel better and a little less inflamed and stuff like that. But I probably would do better with more fasting and, maybe like a week of just beef, salt and water.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I got a lot of lamb. So I got lamb. I had lamb yesterday. I had beef today, along with my pork belly.
It's an emergency.
It's New York.
So you know what I'm having for Christmas dinner, 8A?
Mm-hmm.
Probably a roast chicken. Roast chicken
Why?
with bacon. Because that's a traditional thing we do.
Oh.
Just traditionally, that's what I don't know. I feel funny if I steered away from the roast chicken or the roasted turkey. I feel weird, but I feel chicken is better than turkey. And you can get some pretty, get a nice chicken, roast that
Wait,
up.
why is chicken better than turkey?
I mean, in taste, from what I recall, because I haven't had turkey in a really long time.
I have a frozen a frozen chicken in my freezer that's been there for 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, even when there's no more food and I'm still waiting for the food to come, I still don't eat that.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I'm not big on the chicken, but I will make it for Christmas dinner because that's just what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know I'm a bit, except for chicken wings. I love those. Once a week, I have to have my chicken wings.
I enjoy them, but when they're offered to me, but I'm not going out of my way to get them.
Okay, I will. I'll make them.
All right.
Good. But I'm not going to go and put barbecue. Like, I'm not putting all that sauce and business on there.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to leave them for you. So you'll have all of them. As much as you want.
Okay. Put them in a non-perishable container and give them to your brother.
Yeah.
And send him up here with you.
Oh, okay. So Mia says she prefers chicken over turkey usually, but deep fried turkey tastes like chicken. Deep fried anything tastes great. So I have always wanted to try deep fried turkey. You hear these horror stories of people. That. Yeah, you hear these horror stories of people like blowing up stuff because they drop in a still frozen turkey, or I don't know.
I've never had deep fried turkey, and I've only seen it on the TV, like you said, with people blowing things up with their frozen turkeys.
A large picture that says there's something wrong with me because I don't like wings. I mean, I like them, but I just I don't like them enough to make an effort to get them.
They're fun. They're don't you have fun with your food? Chicken wings.
Yeah. And pepperoni I think is fun. Like all kinds of sausage I consider sort of fun. For me that's carnivore candy. Yeah. Now Audra says
you know what
No, go ahead.
I had for a little while there, I was taking pork rinds and I was dipping them in liverwurst and eating them.
Excellent. Yes. I've definitely done that. I like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now Audra says meat fondue with shabu lamb, seared scallops. Full disclosure, it's a fondue meal, so there will be melted brie, cheese, fondue, and veggies. That sounds delicious. So dipping pieces of lamb and seared scallops into melted brie and cheese. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all.
I'll leave the brie because I have brie issues.
Oh, some other type of cheese.
Yeah, I've got brie issues. I can only eat cheese that I don't have an issue with. Like the Havarti, we broke up.
So, but Audra, you deep fry the turkey not in oil. That's what we have been confused by. But for, I don't know about millennia, but as long as we've been cooking, we've been frying in animal fats. So you don't need liquid oil to deep fry anything. We have been using tallow for this purpose and lard for this purpose forever. And in fact,
Missing it. 80.
What?
I just have to send my tubs of bacon fat to Audra and she can deep fry her turkey in it.
There you go. But it wasn't until I think it was 1993 that McDonald's stopped using tallow to deep fry their French fries. And there were people used to say there was something about their French fries that was so amazing. And it was because they fried them in tallow. So that's what you need to do with your fat. Get a deep fryer and you put your fat in there.
But they had to stop doing that because that was unhealthy.
No, it was the vegetarians because it wasn't right for animals. That's why.
I think in the Big Fat Surprise, Nina Teicholz says something about that too, about the McDonald's tallow fat French fry thing.
Red and gold. Liverwurst is not different in Canada. It's it's essentially like pate, liver pate, fat and liver.
Oh, I think what I use the term dipping, but it's like scraping more. I'd say, yeah. But scraping isn't quite as sexy as saying dipping. Oh, yeah. I dip. But yeah.
And Audra will accept bacon fat.
Right on, Audra.
Oh, and Sybil is eating pork rinds.
Brother.
Yeah. Sybil's eating pork rinds and beef liver pate right now. Yeah. Yeah.
Great carnivore minds.
Yep, exactly. 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 So we have had a 2-hour and 15-minute conversation. It has been amazing to catch up with you. I love, love, love hearing all about what's been going on and being able to chat. Everyone has missed you so much. I have missed you.
Guys. I miss you guys so much.
So what are we going to do? How are we going to fix this? Because we still have a ton of people here. Okay, so let's move to Saturdays.
Let's try to do Saturdays. I mean, I don't think I can do every Saturday.
Let's do one a month.
Because, I'm so busy with my love life.
Yeah.
I don't think I can do every Saturday. But yeah, let's do
one a month.
And can we play a game? I was going to mention this game earlier.
Uh-huh.
Now, and we can actually come back in the month and share. But the game I want us to play is how many articles can you find for New Year's that say the carnivore diet is going to kill you?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's amazing that people are talking about the carnivore diet. But it's amazing that people are even talking about the carnivore diet. People weren't talking about this before. But that's progress. That's progress that people even know about it. So we're here.
That's a very positive outlook. I like that, A-Day.
Yeah. And then there's going to be somebody who's like, do black people do this? And then they search black and carnivore, and then there you go. Then they find us. Yeah. Yeah.
They find you, A-Day.
They find us. Us. And you are coming back. We're going to start doing these Saturday night lives. And we're going to be just as funny. Yeah. Awkward. This is truly the Carnivore After Dark.
This is, yes.
Yeah.
We're going to do this funny and awkward. And you guys can come back and watch me just be awkward and strange.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So thank you everybody for sticking around, for for doing all of this. I want to wish everybody a very, very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Because we're not going to see you we'll see you all the 29th, but I am not going to see you again before Christmas. I'm going to premiere 2 videos this week, so I'll be in a live chat, but I'm not going to be on camera. And then we're going to come back and Arian and I will do a live on the 29th, and then we won't see you again until 2021. And, 2020 has been an awful year. So, there have definitely been good things that happened, but, I'm ready to shut the door. and see what 2021 has to offer. But I am not hopeful like I was last year.
I am giving 2020 the boot.
Yeah. Yeah. So
the only thing that was good is that I ate a lot of meat. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So Reed and Gold likes your game, is excited to do it. Yeah.
Yes, let's do the game. Just go to CNN. They'll have tons of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So so everyone, thank you. Good night. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Virginia is going to tell us about her soap. I'm excited about that. And yeah, so looking forward to it. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around with us for so long. I love the conversation, and I will see you soon.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Good night.